What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Fantasy Hotline. For today's video, we're going to be talking about 5 RB dead zone running backs to draft in your fantasy football leagues. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, well, what the hell is a dead zone running back? So basically, if you don't know, dead zone running backs are guys who are going in between rounds 3 and 6. Typically, running backs, historically speaking, don't do very well when you're taking them in between those rounds, or if we're comparing them to like other positions, tight ends, wide receivers, and whatnot. Today I'm going to give you a list of guys that I really like heading into the season, and I'm going to explain why I like these guys. So the first dude, Naji Harris, running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right now his ADP is 30.3, currently being taken off the board at RB11. He had an excellent rookie season, huge fantasy disappointment last year. He finished as the RB14, averaging only 11.9 half-point PPR fantasy points per game. However, he was dealing with a foot injury, right, for a big part of the season. And those last 8 games, he played much better, averaging 14.7 fantasy points per game, making him the RB4 during that span. The Steelers don't have any competition outside of Naji Harris at that position. Jalen Warren might see a little bigger role in 2023, but Harris still remains the lead back, the workload back, and I do think that the Steelers have an improved offensive line, and he's just got a lot of upside going in that mid to late 3rd round. You want to take him if you go wide receiver heavy, he can definitely serve as an RB1. Maybe you could get him as your RB2, that's even better. Okay, next guy on the list we're going to be talking about is Jamir Gibbs, Detroit Lions. ADP 37.7, currently being taken off the board at RB14. Now, what do we know about Jamir Gibbs, right? Well, behind Robinson, deserves every ounce of hype as the top rookie running back, all right? But let's not forget about Gibbs. The Lions surprised everyone when they selected him 12th overall in the NFL draft, but he has significant fantasy value as a rookie. Last year, DeAndre Swift was the RB22, averaging 11.9 half PPR points per game, despite averaging only 7.1 rushing attempts per contest. Yet, he still finished second on the team in targets, only beyond Ahmad St. Brown. Despite Jamal Williams having a top 12 finish after leading the NFL in rushing touchdowns with 17, Swift was still productive for fantasy players. Now Gibbs is going to step up into that role, but with the ability to play more than 42% of the snaps. This dude's a rookie. They took him with their first round pick, 12th overall. He's going to get a lot of attention, a lot of looks, heavy workload. I love me some Jamir Gibbs to go along with Naji Harris as our dead zone running back picks. Number 3 running back that we're going to be talking about here is Joe Mixon, Cincinnati Bengals. ADP is 46.7, currently being taken off the board at RB17. Many people are labeling Mixon as a do not draft candidate heading into the season, and I just can't wrap my brain around why. This dude's on a great team. He's got a great quarterback, lots of talented wide receivers. They're going to score a lot of points, guys. The Bengals are going to score a lot of points. They're a high-powered offensive team. And Mixon last season had one of the best seasons of his NFL career. He ended the season as the RB12, averaging 15 half-point PPR points per game. He had 11 rushing touchdowns. Or excuse me, I'm going to have to pack that. So he finished as the RB12, averaged 15 half-point PPRs per game. And he had career highs in receptions, yards, and reception yards and targets. Okay. Also, P. Ryan is no longer in the picture, right? Joe Mixon is the only guy that's gonna be there. He doesn't have to worry about P. Ryan taking away his reps, his passing, all that stuff. He was a large role in the passing game last season. Joe Mixon, that is. We talked about it a second ago. He had career highs in receiving yards, 441. I love me some Joe Mixon. If you can get him, snatch him up, you won't be disappointed. And actually, let me fact check that touchdown total. I thought it was 11. Let's make sure that I'm giving you guys the right information. So Joe Mixon last season finished with 7 rushing touchdowns. Okay, maybe it was 11 total. But nonetheless, I love Joe Mixon as our dead zone running back pick. Next guy on the list, number 4, we got Miles Sanders, on a new football team with the Carolina Panthers, right? So his ADP right now is 59.3, going off as the RB20. Everyone remembers how awful Sanders was in 2021. He failed to get into the end zone after like 163 touches, right? But he did bounce back last season. He was the RB13, averaged 12.2 fantasy points per game. Also had 11 rushing touchdowns. That was the 11 touchdowns that I was trying to think. I had Mixon and Sanders a little confused there. He no longer has Jalen Hurts under center to take away those rushing touchdowns at the goal line. That's going to help him out. That's going to help him get more fantasy points. Also in that Carolina Panthers offense, they love their running backs. They love throwing to their running backs. Look at all the years with Christian McCaffrey, right? He's going to get a lot of looks in the pass game, a lot of targets. Don't be surprised if Sanders has a career year in the passing game. I love me some Miles Sanders. I'm going to be drafting a lot of him as much as I can in my fantasy football leagues. All right? And our fifth and final guy that I want you guys to be drafting in your leagues is no other than Cam Akers, Los Angeles Rams. ADP is 60.3, going off the board as the RB22. Akers, a little bit of a riskier pick, but you know what? Sometimes that's what fantasy football is all about. We typically don't like taking risks if we could avoid them, but sometimes it just kind of is what it is. Cam Akers, he's got lovers, he's got haters, he's got health problems, historically speaking, but the former Florida State running back ended last season on fire. He was the RB2 over the last 4 weeks, averaging 18.3 half PPR points per game. He also forced a missed tackle on 22.7% of his rushing attempts during those 4 weeks. And more importantly, he set career highs in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns in 2022, despite all the issues he had in the first half of the season. All right, so I love me some Cam Akers. I know he's being taken off as the RB22, but he's got top 10 upside in 2023. These are my 5 RB dead zone running backs to draft in your 2023 fantasy football leagues. If you have any other guys in mind, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.